Lolita the Killer Whale, also known as Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut and Tokitae, was born wild around 1964 in the Salish Sea, to her mother, believed to be an orca named Ocean Sun. Tragically, on August 8, 1970, Lolita and her family pod were violently ambushed by whale catchers who profited by kidnapping wild orcas and selling them to amusement parks. Disorienting them with explosives and chasing them to exhaustion with speedboats and airplanes, Lolita's family and 80 other southern resident killer whales were eventually forced into Penn Cove by their assailants. The assault lasted 10 tumultuous days, killing 5 orcas and capturing 8. Lolita and the 7 others condemned by the whale hunters to a life in captivity were dragged into the shallows. Their family, terrorized but now unrestrained, followed close behind them, crying out to their kin one last time. Lolita was the last to be hoisted from the water. It's been 51 years since Lolita was captured, sold to the Miami Seaquarium for $20,000, and shipped across the country. Under the guise of education, she's entertained hundreds of thousands of us, earning the Miami Seaquarium hundreds of millions of dollars. Lolita's been enslaved in an illegal tank for over half a century. It's 13 feet shorter than what's required by federal law. It's in disrepair, offers no protection from the brutal Florida sun, and is barely as deep as she is long. The Miami Seaquarium claims that Lolita's welfare is their top priority, but a recently released federal inspection report shows that she's suffering in a substandard tank in poor water quality with chronic skin conditions and eye lesions. Lolita's been purposely fed rotting fish and less food, against the advice of her attending veterinarian. This is leaving Lolita dehydrated, with abnormal blood work and with inflammation. Lolita's been observed being overexerted, winded, and forced to perform dangerous tricks at high speed. These head-first jumps have resulted in her repeatedly injuring her lower jaw. Medical records indicate 5 injuries to her lower mandible occurring in less than 6 weeks. To date, over 170 orcas have been killed in captivity. That includes both wild-captured and captive-born killer whales. It doesn't include the 30 stillborn and miscarried captive-bred orca calves who've also been lost, or those killed during the wild capture process. In 1980, Lolita actually witnessed one of these horrific deaths, that of her friend and tank mate of 10 years, Hugo. He died by suicide after ramming his head repeatedly against his tank. Sadly, Lolita is the sole survivor of the August 8, 1970 Penn Cove capture. We mustn't allow the captive whale and dolphin industry to take Lolita's life and etch her name upon their gravestone. The Lummi People, one of the original inhabitants of Washington State's northern coastal region, have a deep connection with orcas. Their word for them, Quahamich'den, means our relatives below the waves. They view the southern resident killer whales as family members, whose history, experiences, and fate are beautifully interconnected with their own. The Lummi-led nonprofit, Sacred Lands Conservancy, has already completed Phase 1 of their initiative to rehabilitate and relocate Lolita back to her natal waters, the Salish Sea. In collaboration with leading experts from the Whale Sanctuary Project, the Sacred Lands Conservancy developed a comprehensive operational plan that addresses, in great detail, how to responsibly proceed with all components of Lolita's return home to the Pacific Northwest. Life in a protected, netted seaside sanctuary means Lolita would have space to breach, not under human command, but at her own volition. She would have 100 acres to swim, play, and explore her home once more. She could deep dive to depths of 60 feet if she wanted to. Lolita could once again use her echolocation, a sense she's been deprived of while trapped in a static concrete tank. She could explore the natural contours of the bay, her fellow marine life, and the enriching textures of the sea floor. A team of dedicated human caretakers would support Lolita at all times and monitor her health and well-being 24/7, 365 as she returned to life outside of a tank and experienced some freedom once again. You can help build on this great work by helping Sacred Lands Conservancy with Phase 2, finding Lolita's exact sanctuary site and adding it to the ever-growing list of successful wildlife sanctuaries found around the world. In this phase of work, prospective sanctuary sites will be assessed, the best available site will be secured, and required permits will be obtained. Fundraising for Phase 2 has just begun. Together, we can secure her release to a safe seaside sanctuary in her home waters, where she could thrive and live a life free of exploitation. You can help save Lolita right now by visiting gofundme.com/f/Tokitae. And if you're wanting to dive a little deeper and help Lolita in another big way, call, write, or email the Dolphin Company today. They recently purchased the Miami Seaquarium, and as its current owners, they're the key decision makers around Lolita's well-being and future. Urge the Dolphin Company to seize this glorious opportunity by allowing Lolita's release from show business and supporting her relocation to sanctuary. By doing so, they'd join other celebrated companies who've done what's best for their whales and dolphins and are on the right side of history. The tide is turning for whales and dolphins in captivity. The time for sanctuaries has come. Thanks so much for watching, and let me know in the comments below how you've decided to help Lolita. Her story is ever evolving, and I'll do my best to keep you posted.